Saker falcons are usually found in desert and forest areas within Eastern Europe all the way to Central Asia. When winter arrives, the falcons migrate to Africa as well as southern Asia. The colors of the Saker falcon vary frequently, ranging from brown to a cream color. They also have whitish spots on the inside of their tails. The females tend to be larger than the males, weighing about 2.1 to 2.9 pounds, while the male weighs from about 1.6 pounds to 2.2 pounds. The length of the females and males are about 55 centimeters and 45 centimeters respectively. Both have curved beaks that are beneficial for hunting. These falcons tend to take nests already built by other species, occasionally fighting off a current occupant for the nest. The nests have been found in trees as well as on cliffs. These falcons breed only once a year, occurring in the spring. An average of 4 eggs are laid for a falcon per season and take just over a month to hatch. It is typical for these birds to live about 5 to 7 years in the wild, while living 15 to 20 years in captivity. These birds are very patient and persistent. Once they spot prey, they usually don't venture off and find more if it seems too difficult to kill. Like lions, the females are the dominant sex, so they do a lot of the hunting. The Saker falcons usually eat smaller animals such as hamsters, squirrels, gerbils, and hares. At times, the falcon may eat other birds like quail, herons, and ducks. Because of their eating habits, Saker falcons are important to the ecosystem. They eat small rodents and birds while also helping to reduce the amount of pests in its habitat. The northern or Eurasian lynx is the largest of the lynx species, as well as one of the largest predators in the region. They usually weigh about 40 to 80 pounds and are about 27 to 51 inches in length. The lynx has 3 different types of coat patterns, which all consist of gray and yellow fur. They can be one shade, striped, or even spotted. The ears are commonly white and rectangular. The Eurasian lynx can be discovered predominantly in Central Asia. They do not like open or man-made areas. They tend to be found in areas with lots of trees, but can also be found in rocky locations. Families of Eurasian lynx usually have 2 to 3 offspring and can live up to 17 years in the wild and 24 years in captivity. Rather than being active during the middle hours of the day, these animals like to be active in the earlier and later parts of the day. They also have the ability to climb and swim when hunting. This breed of lynx only feeds on meat. Smaller deer such as roe deer and musk deer are part of the smaller lynx diet, while the larger lynx has the ability to kill caribou and elk. The lynx doesn't fight with other animals over the prey, rather, they will eat peacefully. This breed eats 3 to 4 times a day, consuming its meal in privacy. By killing up to 40% of deer population annually, the Eurasian lynx severely alters distribution, behaviors, and population of the deer in its habitat. The Mongolian gerbil is commonly found within Inner Mongolia, specifically the highlands. The gerbil can also be found in North China as well as South Serbia. Inner Mongolia has serious temperature swings, where the Mongolian gerbil must brave through negative 40 Fahrenheit winters and 122 Fahrenheit summers. Like the Corsac fox, the Mongolian gerbil likes to burrow for shelter. The burrows are created near plants, so the plant's roots support the foundation of the burrow. These gerbils live in desert, grassland, and occasionally mountainous areas. This gerbil is a very small creature, averaging about a 4-inch body length. Surprisingly, the length of its tail is also about 4 inches. Its fur is predominantly gray, with white fur on its belly. The gerbil families have one alpha male, who is larger than the other gerbils. The territories occupied by the gerbil families are contingent on the alpha male. They are also scavengers. To save energy for their searches, the gerbils rest during the most extreme temperatures of the day. To try to attract females, the males will chase them while stomping their feet. At the same time, the foot stomping method is also a warning signal for incoming danger. The Mongolian gerbil does not eat meat. Rather, it eats small plants, grasses, and small fruits. Limegrass and brittlegrass are 2 examples. The Corsac fox looks similar to the red fox, but its ears are long and pointy, and its legs are bigger, while the overall size of the Corsac is smaller. This fox has a coat that consists mostly of gray fur. The species also has small additions of white and yellow fur. The total length of the body is approximately 20 inches, while the tail is about 10 inches. The Corsac fox can be found in a number of places, like Turkestan, Afghanistan, Mongolia, and Tibet. It is also considered to live in the Palearctic region. This fox is commonly found in steppe and semi-desert areas. It tends to take tunnels and dens dug by other animals and take these dens for itself. The average number of offspring this fox will have in its lifetime is 5, with the range of offspring being from 2 to 11 babies. When born, the fox weighs about 2.2 ounces and will live around 13 years. The Corsac fox likes to be active when the sun is out when it's in captivity, but in the wild it tends to be nocturnal. They aren't the fastest animals, but if pursued, the fox has the ability to climb. They also have great senses of hearing, sight, and smell. This fox likes to eat birds, smaller animals, and insects. It can't eat large animals because it's so small. In fact, because of its small stature, the fox has to pounce on its prey by jumping through the air.
Tumbleweed, often looking small, green, and rather bush-like, appear most plentiful around the Great Plains. The name tumbleweed derives from the plant's tendency to break from its roots when it matures. This happens so the plant can distribute its seeds across a wide landscape. This can cause some problems, though, as tumbleweed will have a high tendency to bundle up and block canals or pile up against buildings. Rhubarb is a plant that usually has a tendency to have heavy green leaves. The plants can sometimes grow thick rose-colored leaf stalks. The plant will also distribute its seeds by a method known as forcing, where the plant exposes its buds, or crowns, to freezing temperatures and then enclosing them to temperatures around 16 Celsius. This process makes the species excellent to live among colder parts of the Asian Minor, often places in Mongolia. It is also known as the pie plant. The thick leaves can be used to make things such as tart sauce or pie fillings. However, the leaves themselves on the hollow stalk should not be consumed. They contain enough oxalic acid to seriously harm or kill someone. Sweet vernal is often 30 to 60 centimeters tall. This plant resembles common forms of grass and has shoots and buds ranging from 2 to 9 millimeters wide. These buds are often flat, bright green, and hairy. They commonly bloom between April and June, and the seeds grow around May through July. This plant is native to Eurasia, resides in temperate regions of North Africa, North Asia, Japan, and Asian Minor. They are also found in meadows and pastures. These seeds can often be distributed by water or animals. The sweet vernal often tastes similar to caramel. The plant has often been used as remedies for hay fever and can be dried up and used in tea or herbs. Frigid sagebrush is a shrub-like plant. It is often woody with many branches that it grows in order to stay at ground level. Unlike trees, they do not have stems, but in fact many branches. These branches often grow up to 1.8 meters, but can also be found to be even taller. Each branch usually has silver to gray leaves, which often have 3 spikes around them. The sagebrush can be found widespread across the Eurasian steppes. Here they are sometimes known as wormwood. The leaves of the sagebrush often give off a strong, spicy smell. Milkvetch is about 1 1/2 to 3 1/2 inches tall. They have rigid stems and leaves found from anywhere between 5 and 9 inches. The stems are also accompanied by 21 to 31 leaflets. The leaflets are often 1 1/2 inches long and 3/8 inches across. They have smooth edges. The plant can also bloom around 75 flowers, which are yellow with green tints. They are often found in the western plains. They can be found in large quantities thanks to the nutrients found in the soil. And they are also related to the pea plant and have no scent.
Mongolia is high, cold, and dry, with short summers and long winters. The country is an average of 257 cloudless days per year and acts as the center of a region with high atmospheric pressure. Precipitation falls predominantly in the summertime. Rainfall is highest in the northern part of the country, an average of 20 to 35 centimeters per year, while the southern part of the country only experiences an average of 10 to 20 centimeters of precipitation per year. According to Robert L. Morden and Andrea Models Savada, average temperatures over most of the country are below freezing from November through March and are about freezing in April and October. January and February averages of negative 20 degrees Celsius are common, with winter nights of negative 40 degrees Celsius occurring most years. Summer extremes reach as high as 38 degrees Celsius in the southern Gobi region and 33 degrees Celsius in Ulaanbaatar. More than 50% of the country is covered in permafrost, making road building, mining, and construction rather difficult. In the winter, all bodies of fresh water freeze over. Mongolia's range of climate can be characterized as unpredictable in the summer and incredibly diverse in the winter. The weather of the country severely challenges both human and livestock survival. Less than 1% of the country is fertile, 8 to 10% is forest area, and the rest is desert.
One ecological problem facing the modern Eurasian steppes is the loss of animal diversity due to a number of factors. In the Asian part of the steppes, especially Mongolia, big game hunting has threatened many animal species. Before the collapse of the Soviet Union, Mongolia had not developed its own resources. It was dependent largely on Soviet subsidies and exported only a very small amount of animal products. Now, with the introduction of free trade with China and the rest of the world, the demand for Mongolian wildlife has increased. This graph shows the average trade levels for several species relative to the historic peak trade volumes. As you can see, in 2004, the demand for Mongolian animals increased greatly. The very tall dark blue bar you see represents demand for red fox. The second highest one, slightly lighter blue, represents the Corsic fox. Marmots are another species that are being threatened by excessive hunting. In fact, from 1990 to 2002, the population of marmots in Mongolia declined by 75%. Species such as the red deer and saiga antelope have experienced similar declines. The main reason these animals are harvested is for their pelt. The international fur trade, especially with China and Russia, is booming. Another factor is the meat trade. Although the international market for Mongolian meat is very low, the domestic market is thriving. Both rural hunters and large-scale traders have benefited greatly from the wildlife trade, but it appears from the rate of loss of wildlife that those gains will only be short-lived. The World Bank has estimated that full-time wildlife traders in Mongolia can make up to $5,000 a year, which is approximately 10 times the average salary for rural residents. The popularity of hunting has already taken its toll on the fauna of the steppes. Population of many species, the saiga antelope, for example, has already crossed the line into economic extinction, meaning it is no longer profitable for hunters to target specifically this species. If the species currently threatened by hunting are not saved, then thousands of hunters could be out of a job. The Mongolian government has made some minimal effort to correct this problem. For example, the Ministry of Nature and Environment, an agency dedicated to protecting wildlife management, was created in 1989. Unfortunately, a lack of funds has required it to divert most of its most important functions to local governments, who are usually unequipped to handle the problem. In some areas of the steppes where farming is more practical, certain species have been threatened by agriculture. Deforestation and the diversion of rivers are the main agricultural activities that threaten animals. Certain species, such as the tawny eagle and great bustard, went locally extinct in several regions until recently, when reforestation and reservoir construction efforts helped several species who were threatened be revived. One species, the Bukhara deer, was feared to be going extinct until several bred in captivity were released into the wild, and when a system of canals was constructed to prevent desertification of agricultural lands. For more information about these problems and others affecting the steppes, contact the World Bank or United Nations Environment Program.